one. Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing on this fabulous, fabulous Tuesday? If you're here, then you are in the right place. You have at least followed your fate and your destiny. And I can guarantee you that this hour is going to be a fun hour. I think we're going to go places that we normally don't go. So let me just speak favor over everybody. Nothing missing, nothing broken. Man, you got to speak the favor. That's all I got to say. So this is a second look. I have my lovely co-host going on 5 years now, Miss Trina. Isn't that just freaking amazing? You know?
Wow, I'm so grateful. Thank you, Wayne.
Well,
You're
thank
such a
you.
beautiful part of my life and everything that's gone with it. The soul tribe. Oh, you guys are amazing.
Yeah.
Bernadette, meeting beautiful new people. It's just what a ride. Thank you.
Well, darling,
You're welcome,
thank
my dear.
you. It's um Yeah, you have enriched my life, and as my wife and I talk, she says, you have more beautiful women around you, but she says the thing about it is I don't feel threatened by it at all. You know,
Right.
That is a confident
It's
woman.
love. It's just love.
it's
That,
like,
we know our
yeah,
boundaries. We got
yeah,
our boundaries straight,
it's
but
it's
we
it's
love.
like Aretha says, it's RESP, it's respect,
Right.
baby.
Correct.
That's
Mhm.
right. That is right. And boy, anybody who can't have respect for a woman who can be married to Wayne Steiger needs to go get checkup.
I told her, I said, whatever karmatic debt that you had in prior lives, I said, man, it's been paid. And I said, Shh, you got the golden path, honey. So anyway,
Yeah, you wake up in the morning, you're going to the coffee pot, then you're like, hey, I had talk with God last night and the whole world's upside down. That's how you'd start your day at Wayne's house most often. You're like, wait a minute, just wait a minute. I can't imagine, Wayne. It's got to be so much fun, but challenging.
well, I wake up with a song all the time. Like this morning, I woke up with Led Zeppelin, Kashmir.
Oh
And
my gosh.
so anyway,
I woke up with a whole lot of love. That's funny.
see, that's what I'm talking about is the vibe, man. It's
Like
here.
I woke up to
Yeah.
Zeppelin too this morning. How
It
odd.
had to be something. I don't know. Speaking of Zeppelin, how you doing, Miss Jenny?
I'm good. I'm good. It's hectic over here. That everything's crumbling down, but in the chaos we rebuild, and it's all about finding center ground in the chaos, isn't it? So
It
it's
is.
it's really been quite busy over here. I'm keeping really busy on the website. I'm just waiting for the passport to come back now. It's been one thing after another, but yeah, thank you for all the good energy. I really have appreciated it this week.
Had you and Theodore and William as well, and Mary, isn't that right? Is it Abby's name now?
Rosie, yeah, Rosie,
Hey.
Rosemary, Rose,
Thank you.
whatever you
Thank you.
prefer.
Yeah.
Um,
I had the
yeah, yeah,
fam, that's what I was saying, I encased you in
yeah.
that spirit.
I felt it. I
It
felt
was
it. I was
Jenny
pretty.
and fam.
Yeah, yeah. I
That's
was.
what it was.
We've been protected, and there's so much like dropping down the because obviously a lot of us either touch or work in the social sectors. So we're seeing all of the crumbling of a lot of what is supposed to be there, that you pay for to be there, and it's just not happening. And with that strength and that compassion and empathy coming through you guys was just. I
Hmm,
felt it. I felt protected.
Mhm. Mhm.
interesting. You
Thank
remind
you.
me of my last night vision I had with I called them the angels back in the day, probably still were, I don't know, but I was taken to a city that was built by brick, and all the buildings were crumbling. And as I was walking down this, I don't know, the street, came into this room, and there was one of these beings sitting there, and he pointed to a whiteboard and he says, "Teach them." And that was been almost whoosh, 18 years ago. So anyway.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everyone, I think you recognize our returning guest, Goddess Abenaa, Bernadette. How are you, my dear, all the way
I
from the
am just
Caribbean?
wonderful. I'm just wonderful.
You have a
Enjoying the
glow
beautiful weather.
about you, dear. Yeah, I love the energy. It's just, it's, it's, it's a good energy, is what I'm saying.
Thank
So
you. Thank
I
you.
thought it would be fun for all of us to get together. And, Jenny, you're talking about, and I'm assuming primarily government and social structure and what have you when you say it's
Yeah, all of
growing.
these systems are just they've separated like foundations of a building, and they're supposed to be so integrated right now with all of the computerization and stuff, but the people within them, the computerization itself is still keeping everything so separate that teams of medical people aren't even talking to one another about patients, and those patients are really falling through the cracks. So people who would usually maybe go out and do home checks on people who need it for mental health issues, self-care issues of maybe not knowing when to eat, or even some people remembering when to eat. There's certain conditions that can make that difficult for people. And to be quite honest, if the community isn't knowing about those people and doing it for themselves, then you're in peril in the UK, quite literally.
Hmm.
It's not good at all. It's all of a sudden it feels like there's been a shaft opened up where we're seeing all of these big, big cracks that have been caused by just profiteering, but not feeding that back down, to making systems work together as an organism. So everybody within these systems is sort of out for themselves rather than integrating, knowing that it might be their granny that needs it next week or their grandpa
Mm.
that needs it a month later, So
It
but
is a
in
time
that,
of
it needs to
change.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were talking right before we went live, and it's interesting because I'm going to do probably a whole show on. So the Hopi Indians and their prophecy, particularly speaking of the prophecy stone. Um, if in as I was reading this, so in 1990, I want to make sure I got the right date.
1998.
1998. Thank you, Bernadette. We, according to the Hopi prophecy, we took the path that's leading to our destruction. And we're well, and it's interesting because we're now seeing here in the United States where the Surgeon General wants to put a warning on the internet, on every social platform, that this is hazardous to your mental health.
That's not
Yeah,
disputable.
yeah,
At
Of
all. At
course.
all.
yeah, except for this one, but and it's so interesting because the prophecy is stating that we are now in a time where time is literally speeded up. Um,
Mhm.
yes, tomorrow will be my birthday, but and by the way, happy birthday to all the Geminis, and this has been a great season. I don't know for myself, I hope with y'all. But anyway, the point is time is not the same 50 years ago. We are now in a time, they now say that the scientists are saying that the Earth's core is slowing down to almost stopping, but yet time itself literally is speeding up. So it's now the perception. They said as well, part of this would be that we crossed the point of no return in 1998, and we are on the path that the fifth world would begin to open up to those who, because humanity's taken this other path to destruction, that the fifth world is manifesting itself to those who see the fifth world and their lives represent by action and living that they truly are going to be moving into the fifth world. So there you go. What do y'all think?
Sensible. Makes
Sensible.
sense.
I love that's exactly what
I
is
think
asked. Does it make
I think
sense?
absolutely factual because, like I said, as we've understood and we're starting to understand, everything in this construct is mental. It's all
Mm-hmm.
based upon thought and consciousness and awareness. So
Yeah.
if you have an awareness that you're more than your body, you have an awareness of more of the soul and the needs of the people and life and you have an awareness of that. You're not completely trapped in the computer, trapped into the material world, trapped into, I need stuff to create my identity. I think once you've broken those barriers, you're already in 5D.
Yeah, it's
It's just,
interesting you said
because
about mental.
the earth is self-splitting
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
in two.
yeah,
yeah,
So they are the lower vibration is on, they call it the eighth sphere. And then who are heading for the fifth dimension.
yeah,
It's in another
Yes.
path,
Yes.
So, but it got to have an end in order to have a beginning.
yeah.
yeah,
So it is not too bad.
yeah.
But
And it,
it's
Goddess
just, we
Abenaa.
have to just keep raising our consciousness, and finding ourselves, in order to move to the fifth dimension, because it's not a place, but it's a level of consciousness.
Yes. Yeah.
and it's interesting, Trina, as you were saying, because today we're represented, we have three distinct parts of the world, three distinct cultures, nations. And it's
Right.
interesting in our nation, we have a president now where the issue of awareness, the whole point, and part of this prophecy was that you will begin to know those who are, as I title this, who would have a soul, that's the word I'm using, and those who don't. Now, the metaphor would be for those, because I think many of us are indigo souls, indigo children.
Yeah.
I know I'm looking at three as I see four counting my beautiful face, but
Yeah.
it only ranks third in the midst of this such beauty that I'm surrounded with. Yeah.
Can I say,
Anyway,
Goddess Abenaa touched on something. We actually have made some friends from the Caribbean just recently at the school, Goddess Abenaa, and I really love that flow. And in the school system, there are a lot of new faces, and new skin tones, and I love that whole flow. But I've been watching, and I've watched the white community. I go slow and go easy if you go with me. So it's all along my vibe that a lot of these Caribbean friends that I've made walk as slowly as me. They take in the scenery, they talk, they get there just as fast seemingly, but they walk slowly. They're not like bang, 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 bang to try and rush everywhere. Where I look at a lot of the white cultural people that are here, and they're rushing everywhere, like constantly. So their time is sped up, even just because of their perception of what's got to be done and when, constantly. Whereas you get this new blood coming through, and bringing in a new fractal of the sun that they've absorbed, that you have to go slower in the sun, otherwise you'd exhaust yourself, you'd dehydrate yourself. But again, that brings a drag on our energies, and I've seen people get quite frustrated with it, and then other people like me say, oh, I love this vibe, yeah, I can walk as slowly up this hill as you, and take in everything around it. And so Goddess being on here really shows to me as well that it's important that that's the soul, I think. The integration of empathy and compassion keeps you connected to the soul of the land, to the souls of you. Me, you guys can be connected through compassion and empathy through telekinesis like that. And the same with
I'm channeling Bob
Abenaa.
Marley right now, so I'm really
Yeah,
into
Mm.
that's the vibe, the
it.
freedom,
I'm
the
just telling you, I
freedom to
am.
face yourself. So I don't know if you would agree with that, Goddess, but would you say that it's you still get as much done, but it's a lovely cultural pacing of less limitation that time brings to a lot of other people that I'm noticing just as an observer.
Yes, we are a little laid back. We
Mm,
stay and then, look at everything and absorb. You know, we are laid back people. And it is
mm.
good and bad, but it is, it is healthy.
Healthy, yeah,
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 it
I
is
love
healthy.
it. I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I've got new walkmates to walk to school with. So like I can keep no problem.
I think having, and it's
Yeah.
just me, but I know we got married in Hawaii, but the water there is, I don't know, to me it was like I was every day you're recharged. You have just the wave itself as they come in, and it's the one consistency that it's like you said, Jenny, it's walking to a
It's a
different
vibe.
pace.
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Yes.
a vibe with it. I can hear the music, I can hear the frequencies when I'm walking with them,
I got my
rather
feet in the
than
water right now. It's kind of cool, like that
It's
sand
really
feeling
yeah.
beneath.
it's really nice for you all to come and experience the Caribbean.
What we were talking
Different.
earlier is that you know, I don't know, Soul Tribe. Hello, everyone in the chat room. How are y'all doing? You bunch of beautiful people. Lauren, I love that book you're reading, by the way, dear. Hey, Gaia, good to see you, and Grandpa O'Brien. But anyway, folks, depending on where we are in the world, what reality we happen to be in, but if enough of us wanted to, we could go down and spend some time with Goddess Abenaa.
Well,
I'm
I'm
just
getting a new
saying,
passport.
little
I'm just saying,
little tropical,
Yes,
vacation in about
yes,
February. I mean,
yes.
we could have a
yeah,
little
yeah.
confab on the
They have
island,
carnival. They're
That's what
having
it is, and
carnival.
it will be
Carnival.
carnival. I
Yeah.
mean, if we got enough people,
And,
we could probably get a
and
good
we've got enough time.
group. Yeah. I mean,
And that
Bernadette, you'll
nice
have to help us with
combination.
the hotels. I mean, I'm sure that
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
that
yes.
they,
We can arrange that. Yes.
Yes.
And the food, the street food. Ooh, I'm excited
that's what I'm
already.
talking about.
Right. Right.
Think about it. Think about it. It might be something to really
Yeah,
kind of get
yeah.
into. Yeah. I mean, if we're going to
Oh,
have a winter like we're having a summer here in the States right now, which is only the beginning, it's going to get really brutal. But hey, might be just as cold. It'd be a nice place to go down. What's the temperature in February?
Warm.
Warm, very warm. Yeah.
When we say
Because
warm,
it's a
very
dry
warm, what do we
season.
say?
It's a dry season. Sometimes it can go very high. But this
So
year,
80s, 90s?
90s, yes. But
Okay.
sometimes it's lower because this year was El Nino, so the weather was different. But
Okay.
ordinarily we'll get a little rain between but it was beautiful. It was beautiful at that time.
Hey,
That is the time to come, you know.
I'm already there. I'm just telling you, I'm
yeah,
just,
that's me too.
I don't
I would
know.
love
And that's part of the soul too, of where the ancient ones, where I felt you guys so much with that guy that we spoke about. And the ancient ones moved mountains literally. They moved great stones through collective telekinesis. There's no other explanation for it, and many of the ancient books go into it, but it's because they weren't disconnected from one another or their environment. They could draw up the sand with their Kundalini energy because of the connectedness. So if we could all get together in a space as beautiful as where Goddess Abenaa is, and move, you really do move mountains in collective connectedness and the
Jennifer,
environment.
this is telekinesis. I have to give you my story with telekinesis.
Oh,
It scares me now to even practice it. But my first experience with telekinesis, I actually moved an item off a shelf in a supermarket and it ended up in my yard.
Wow.
don't be
And
afraid of that,
I
Goddess
could not
Abenaa.
believe how powerful. The mind is so
Yeah.
powerful. I was like, when I reached to my gate and I saw the item on the ground in my yard, I was not practicing as such, but it was like in my consciousness.
What age
And
were
I didn't
you,
mean to.
Bernadette?
What's that?
What age were you, dear?
It happened about 5 years ago.
5 years ago.
Yeah,
Recent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or more, a little more than
That
that.
is
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Far out.
On my journey, because I started 10
Mm,
years ago, 11 years ago, actually. May was 11
mm.
years ago when I started it. And I was practicing the different experiments on the mind, the telekinesis, telepathy, you know. And when I got so scared when that happened, the mind is very, very powerful. And if you really put your mind to telekinesis and any one of those mind control, you could see how it can work.
I
And
still
when it
have
happened,
right over here. So I reach for it. Well, it's the fork that I actually bent.
when that
Mm.
happened, it really scared me. I am
I
afraid to practice it.
have you done it any time since then?
No, I am so
You're like,
afraid
no, I had enough, man.
because
I understand that. I do.
yeah,
I have people that have
definitely.
done that.
I
Yeah,
I was
definitely.
I that scared me. The
Yeah, but
power of the
don't be,
mind is real. Huh?
what I believe with that though, if you can do it and you got that scared, it's because you understand the responsibility of what you can do. So the
Yes,
Yeah,
fear is a beautiful, healthy fear. And I think because you have that so powerfully, you're the perfect person to master this ability because you understand it can hurt things too. So you get
yes,
it. You're the
yes.
one that probably should be mastering this because you hold the
would you?
wisdom of the opposite side. You know
Yeah,
both.
Really.
reference of it. Yeah.
Well,
Would you
Trina,
feel
you are the
comfortable?
only person who have made it make sense to me because I shared it with other people and promise not to share it with anybody again. They say I'm a thief.
Hmm.
And
No.
it was not something I intentionally did, but I was doing certain at around that time, I was doing the different experimenting on the mind. It was
Yes.
part of my experiments of studying the mind. And that happened. And I was like, I said, wow, I was stunned
Yes.
for a while.
A lot of people, I'm
Would
reading
you?
some of the comments that, it's the mind itself and a vibration frequency. It's still originating from the mind. And
Yes.
it's like
Yeah.
Yes,
yesterday, magic only works within the mind.
in the
Yes, and
mind.
the
Yeah.
feeling of it happening, you got to have that part too. If we don't have all three agree, the subconscious mind, the heart, the feeling, and the thought, the mind, and the heart all have to agree. And if they do, you will shift the material world or your body or whatever you're trying to accomplish. It will move it. It will move it.
It's
Yes.
amazing
It's a
how
step.
much Star Wars, the whole, theology of Star Wars, is that the Force is the mind, and that you think about Darth Vader and how he was able to kill people, but he was just using the mind to a vibration, to a frequency, and we come back to this in our Buddha walk, and we find out that it is the mind. It's powerful, and
All is mind. All is mind.
yeah, all is mine. And I
All
had a
this.
discussion just last night, someone with, the whole construct of God. And, they were quite taken aback that, I had this alternate view. And I said, well, I mean, whether it's your view or my view, I said, it's still our minds, because the image that I have of a God or a source or I am or whoever you want to call it is going to be completely different than all three of y'all's.
Mhm.
It's the same street but different addresses.
It's personal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a
I
hell of
think
an
it's
analogy,
supposed
wasn't
to be.
it? Love that
Yeah.
metaphor. Yeah, we all live on the same street. We just got different addresses. That's all.
We just
Yeah.
see out a different window, but we're in the same world, but we're
Yeah,
seeing out different windows. That's
Yes.
exactly what it
Yes.
is. We're all sharing one stream of consciousness coming from a mental construct, but we're all capturing different parts of it. but we're all existing in the same light at the same time through the same construct, but all of us are seeing different parts of it in a packet of separation of illusion. Because in essence, when the body drops, you see you're part of this whole construct. There's no separating you from it. You're one with all of it. It's such a beautiful thing when you start to see it with your own eyes. When I look at you, I know you're me. I'm you, because we're experiencing different things in our body, but the essence of what we are is one. We're the same.
Yeah.
We're the same.
That's why I
Yeah.
love
Boy, we're
meditating in the
powerful.
sun, is that you have this ability once the mind gets free. I always find this dragon, it's always the same dragon. It's always like, so I've now in the place that I go, I expect to see the dragon there, but it's very interesting, that realm. And the reason why I'm saying this, Sunday was a particularly interesting day. So thanks for bringing that up, Trina. It's like,
Yeah. I
yeah.
love that you work with the dragons, because to me, those are the foundational principle element that brought all things into existence into the material form.
So
It
Trina,
came from
get
the
this.
plasma.
A green one introduced itself.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere.
Strange for me, Wayne. I had an encounter with a green one as well, like
That's
last year.
awesome.
Well, the hair's raising on my arm,
It was
so
drinking water at my door. Before I entered the door, there was this green dragon drinking water. And then it looked at me and then it flew away. It was a green dragon.
yeah.
Wow.
This one was the same way. Didn't say much, just introduced
Didn't
itself
say
and just
anything.
kind of just went its way and went far
And the
out.
green is your birthstone, isn't it, Wayne? Emerald is your birthstone, like mine, the
Yeah.
emerald birthstone. So for the Gemini, so the green coming through at this point is really, you're in that loving vibration, you're in that
Just remember,
connected
we are all
space.
air element. We are all air
Yeah.
elementals as well.
Yeah.
Gemini,
Yeah.
Aquarius, Libra.
Yeah.
I'm
Yes, I'm
convinced
Yeah.
fire.
in the spirit
Yeah, and then
realm.
still fire.
What's
What's
but
that?
I'm fire, triple fire. Leo,
you're
Aries,
fire, all right.
Fire. So
fire,
we
fire,
stoke
fire.
her fire. The three of us stoke her three fires, and vice versa. She keeps us warm. It's really cool.
Hugging
Yeah.
Trina was like,
Oh
hugging a
yes, well,
9-volt
we are lovely
battery
match
that
because just remember the air
And the fire.
fan the fire. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Feed
Yeah.
Yeah.
together.
Baby, come and light my fire. Anyway,
Right?
that's
Yeah.
true. It's so interesting. And again, I really do. I'm convinced of this. Been in that ethereal realm, and I have no doubt when I cross over that they're going to be there. And I don't think they're there for everybody. I could be wrong on that, but I think a certain amount of faith and belief adds to that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think a level of evolution, the level of of advancement. You have it go in stages that not everybody's at the same level. So
Mhm.
and we are here to raise our consciousness to really evolve. And some people just remain stagnant, remain at a standstill, and some of us move.
Someone was saying Puff was the magic dragon. Yeah,
Right?
what Puff was smoking, I'll guarantee it.
yeah.
Yeah.
I love that song, by the way, Peter, Paul,
Me
and
too.
Mary.
And he lived by the sea.
Yes, he did.
Yeah. There's
In the
water.
land of fantasy.
That's
Yeah,
right.
research.
In the
Yeah.
imagination.
Yeah.
Why they call it
Yeah.
Imagine Dragons.
As a
band.
kid, about 5 years old, I remember Peter Pan. They used to have it every year on, I think it was CBS, but who was the gal who played Peter Pan? But that was always in my mind. I could go to Neverland. I mean, it was like,
Yeah.
I really believed that there was a place called Neverland.
Wayne,
It is.
I really think Peter Pan is like the analogy for your imagination.
Yeah.
Literally. And Tinkerbell is your higher self, your consciousness. And she's also dual with her ego, because she's got ego still too. So she's a little Tinker, but she's part of the higher consciousness, and she's basically showing you the ego, because Tinkerbell is a really good representation of the ego. Her jealousy, the feistiness, she's a good representation of that. And Captain Hook, the fear. I love that movie. When I see it now in metaphor, it's mind-blowing. The details, Pinocchio too. All
I
of
think
them.
I dated Tinkerbell, to be honest
The
with
hook
you.
is
Just
mind-blowing.
had some relationships that
I
you're
have a
going.
daughter and she's Tinkerbell. I have one. I
It's
have
like,
one.
Think about.
it's like,
I have a Tinkerbell. I have
yeah.
one of those. Yes, I do.
Yeah, but
But
the hook in Peter is really symbolic for me because it's the hook of the J, it's the whole hook of the fear,
Yeah,
the
yeah.
shadow, the hook's always showing up in big shadowy sort of things against the wall as they're hiding or trying to get away. And that hook, if it catches you, can incapacitate you and bring you into a space of fear and stagnation. Whereas when you're in that inner child imagination, anything is possible, anything is doable, anything can be connected to. And so the fear, the hook is a big symbolic thing in Captain Hook for me. It
And
it,
think
it
about it.
feels
And the
yeah,
clock.
that hook.
Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock.
Yeah, that time construct.
Yep.
and now
Yep.
that we're talking about that, of course, Mary Poppins, I still remember as,
Oh,
that
love that.
7-year-old going to the theater and seeing Mary Poppins.
Yes.
And isn't it odd we're talking about this because all of those themes, they had the element of magic in them.
Wayne, that's what we've got to bring back. We really do.
Yeah.
When we look at like the
Yes.
stories of the ascended masters, they talk about magic, precipitation, literally manifesting things out of thin air based on your vibrational your vibration. You have to be in a certain resonance field to do these things. And it was so like, when I got trapped in that courtyard with that bobcat, that was one of those moments of my life where I was being initiated. Will you succumb to the fear or will you connect to love? And I did it. And it worked. And she didn't attack me. And I scared the shit out of her. She should have ate me for lunch. She didn't. She didn't, because I could step back out of the fear, connect to the love, and know that the love in me is the same love that's in that. And that we have a connection. And the first thought was, what do you like? What do you see about her that you like? And there was her eyes. I was like, whoa, those are beautiful eyes, big green eyes. And it shifted everything in my vibration. And this is magic. We can control so much of this world if we can learn to shift from fear, ego, judgment into, no, I have control. I have this powerful force inside me that's connected to everything. And damn it, I can direct it through love.
Now, it's interesting you're talking about the bobcat, which that's where the rubber hits the road, so to speak, big
Right.
time.
You're like, oh,
It's like, now, just the opposite, we have a deer. She's a beautiful doe. She stands about, almost 4 feet. And it's interesting because I made eye contact with her last week. So she was up on the porch and I came around and I had some corn and she's really skittish. But again, there was that contact and she didn't run. I, poured out the corn. And anyways, the point that, yeah, it's the same vibration. That,
yes.
yeah, anyway.
They feel the love.
I think they do.
Well,
Yeah.
recently I came into contact in my dream with a black panther.
Oh, really?
And yeah. And I knew it's because of I am dealing a lot with the feminine. I am, really, really want to amass the feminine. And I came in contact with this black panther in my dream. But I wasn't scared or anything, but like came to give me a message.
Love that.
What was it?
Because in
What
because
was
in
it?
Egyptian culture, they Bass, I think is Bass or Bassett. She, you know, shape shifts into the panther.
Yes.
I wondered, can anyone look up and see what does dream interpretation? I mean, that's significant.
Right here.
So,
Panther. Black Panther.
There we go. Ask and you have. That's the other thing about magic. You have to ask sometimes. People say why it doesn't manifest. Sometimes you don't ask. So what is it, Trina? You're muted, hon. Trina, you're muted. Jeannie, are you there? Trina, you're muted. There we
hey,
go.
so is she back?
Are you
I'm
back,
here.
Trina?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here. I'm seeing if I can find Panther in here.
So for me, Goddess Abenaa, the black, I'm just replying to a dream interpretation to Emperor Rexia, but my typing I'm trying to do it quietly. So for me, the Black Panther is absolutely resembling and giving reverence to the divine feminine within you, which would be very powerful in the form of a Black
I think
Panther.
that was it.
To
Yes.
dark woman manifest becoming manifest, and it's seeking, it's prowling, it's crawling, it's searching for knowledge and wisdom of how to apply it. Now in tarot, in front of the divine feminine, a lot of the wisdom is veiled. It's got a veil over it like this, it's veiled because it should only be seen and used by those with what wisdom to revere it and wisdom to revere it within themselves and utilize it and use it. So the Black Panther coming to you feels like a real new boundary settings as you explore this dark woman manifest within self. And so the parameters are being protected. And in tarot, this speaks of the black cat in front of the high priestess, let's say, and it sits in between her slightly open legs, which are also veiled to the floor, with only 1 foot showing. And that black cat is representative of the protective mechanism of that dark woman manifest and how it should be protected and revered and only seen and explored by those who have the adept nature and wisdom to do so. So it really feels like that energy within you is just prowling around, creating those boundaries, but also creating those parameters that you're pushing out into. It's beautiful that I feel intuitively. It's a beautiful thing. But I would like you to do more connection with her and not be afraid of her. She is you and you are her. And the power that you see in her muscles as she moves. I know that you've took note of the highlights of the muscles as the shadows move around her. The velvety look of her, the flow of her. I can see that you look at in a little bit of awe. Well, actually, she's been made manifest by you, from your dark woman manifest. She belongs to you. You should stroke her from head to toe. You should feel her purr, her vibration, her roar. You should feel that, and that's the energy that you have within you that creates telekinesis. And so instead of being afraid of it, revere it, yes, respect it, yes, only apply it with wisdom, yes, because she deserves that. She's a beautiful creature being made manifest into the world. And that it's a powerful message for you. So I hope that helps you.
Thank you
But
very
it's
much,
similar.
Jennifer. That resonates.
You know what I
Great,
think
great.
too? What I just keep sensing in all my being is that she's an aspect of you and she's your protector. And when you feel you need to be strong, become the panther. She's like, I work with you. I am you. This is your power that you forgot you had. It's you are me. We are one. And if you need me, I will stand and guard you. She's like saying she's your spirit guide. Like she's your protector. She's like, call on me. I will do the work for you. And if not, I will do it through you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I would say that it is a spirit guide.
Me too.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
definitely feminine. You can feel that very
Definitely
much.
feminine because I mean my
Yep.
passion, my passion for about the divine feminine because I really and I know there will be no peace on this earth because the feminine has been lost. You know,
Yes.
yeah. And she got to come to this, you know, and we have to put her back on this road.
Yes. Yes.
That is
She
why
could-
everything must come to an end. We have to put her back on this road.
Yes.
Love this.
Yes. And she's powerful, so powerful. I mean, really, who can take on a panther? I don't know many, if any. You know, it's a powerful, powerful animal. And the cats, they walk in two worlds. They're very different than most other animals. The cats walk in two worlds. They see the energy world more than the physical. So
That is true.
very, very powerful to
Because
have that.
sometime ago, recently, there was no, I have no animals, but there are these cats, these stray cats will be around, and they keep making this noise at my back door. I looked through the window and I saw them, but they're seeing something I am not seeing.
Yes.
Then at the front door, they started to sleep in the plant for a long time. You know, every day they come to the plant. There was this fern that I have, and they will sleep in it, like they were protecting me from something.
They are. I've seen them do that before, and I've seen them literally protect people while they were sleeping and beat
Yes.
up spirits and whack and literally and they clear the space. I'm like, oh, look at that cat protecting that baby. Wow. Yeah, they're powerful, powerful
Yeah.
protectors.
You know, in
Mhm.
the occult, black cats are very powerful. I mean, when we moved here, suddenly a black cat showed up out in
Yeah.
the yard, and and I just look at them as spirit guides. They're powerful
Yeah.
representation of of the spirit realm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
They
she's
show up.
slick. She is hidden, and that's the whole thing of the
Yeah.
veil of the divine feminine, that only the adept should explore the divine feminine, because it is such a force that when it's awakened in the right way, there's no right or wrong way, but in different ways, it can either create ultimate chaos and destruction,
Mhm.
or it can create absolute divine, sleek, slender flow.
Yeah.
But either way, it's powerful, and that's why the divine feminine stays veiled. So the fact that your divine feminine is projecting as a panther who stays in the shadows, she's the best at hiding and being slick and getting the bird's eye view literally from the trees without anybody knowing she's there. I feel like it's that
Yeah.
you're exploring yourself more, which is that fantastic, but you're also in a standing that there needs to be boundaries in this world to that power within you, that divine feminine. You need to channel it rather than allowing other people to channel it, because it's a force to be reckoned with. And that's
Do
where the
you
boundary setting is coming in.
do you guys notice too, like when you awaken, when you step into a new initiation in your life, that you notice as soon as you hit that threshold, that the darkness comes in hardcore to try to stop the process. Have you noticed that?
True. Yes, Trina. Mhm.
Yeah, okay, good. Because I
More
think this is a
challenges
lot of
come.
it too. Yeah, when you go through these phases, you really need to remember after you're done and your mind is not blown, as soon as you can remember, really shield up and call in your protections. And this is when you will meet the new guides. It's because you've
Yeah.
leveled up. You've leveled up,
Yeah,
Gaia was
yeah.
saying that a mountain lion came up to her window, her kitchen window.
right?
Can
On
imagine.
Gaia.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love it.
That I mean, to me, that's significant. I really do that the animal kingdom, well, technically, Homo sapiens are animals. We
Yes.
just think that
Yes.
somehow or another that we have something different, but I don't think so. I mean, I think that the animal kingdom, I mean, dogs, cats, they can sense things, dogs particularly, of a
Yeah.
person that is not right on the inside.
Mhm.
Um, Cats are the epitome of aloofness, and the Egyptians revered the cat. Um, Yeah.
Yeah.
And I always associate cats with feminism. I mean, with the divine feminine. I that's just how I see it now. I could be wrong, but it seems to repeat itself quite often.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And in the cat world as well, the feminine cats have very different traits to the masculine cats. It's the feminine cats that go out and do most of the hunting. It's the feminine cats that go out and do, but they absolutely activate, say, a lion, a pride, a lion will get activated by the feminine in the pride, telling them, okay, now you need to step up and go and do the doing. She activates that masculine in the pride too. So when the foundation is set, it's a powerful pride. It's preserving and protective and protected by that masculine energy too, which you can draw in as well, Abenaa, which will probably come through to you as more of a purpley color, I feel, this masculine energy that is going to float with this panther too, as the moon, sun and the moon within you. And that's the balance of the divine feminine, divine masculine, the reflection of the sun and the moon within you. And the fact that you're exploring that dark is wonderful.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And
Thank
as we're
you.
sitting here talking, I'm looking back in my life. There were several times, particularly I lived down in Texas I was single, and you know what showed up in my back porch was a black cat.
Yeah.
So,
Feminist
you
coming.
know, so I
You
don't
know, it's,
know.
it's it's so funny. We're starting to notice all these synchronicities between when the cats show up in our life, and
Yeah.
how they are doing it for important, monumental reasons. And it seems that the theme is the reconnecting to our connection to the animals. I mean, if we really, it's all of this system is breaking down because this is where we're going. We're returning back to these things because these are the only things that are real here.
Now, when we're having this conversation, on the back of my mind, we were talking at the beginning of the Hopi prophecies, and this is not a normal conversation that you would have or you would expect to hear out in the public arena. So it
Yeah.
tells me that there is truth to this prophecy, that those of us who we see the inner light of the conversation we're having, how it's relevant to our existence. And to me, that it's as we're sitting here, in fact, I literally saw this pane glass frame opening up.
Yeah.
So I don't
I do.
know.
And when you look at Prophecy Rock on the Hopi,
Have
and
you
the
been there, by the way, Trina?
I have been. I actually was one of the first group of 60 individuals allowed in over 60 years to set foot at that Prophecy Rock, and they've apparently shut it down again. So they're not allowing anybody up to it again because somebody tried to do something to it.
Of
So,
course.
Oh
but yeah,
Lord.
but yeah, it is beautiful. And their belief system, it is truly so simple. It shows the ones who can return back to the old ways and understand nature and the divine feminine, because Mother Nature is divine feminine.
It's
Mother
divine
Nature.
feminine.
Yes, Mother Nature. So this is the ones who are balanced with the divine mother and the divine father. Those are the ones who walk in the new world with ease and grace because you're working with the intuition, inspiration of the father, and you're working with the love in the intuition and the guidance of nature all around you, being able to affect the realm in which you're living in through the divine feminine, because she's
Mhm.
creator here. So she does it. It's her. God inspires the male part, but she manifests it. She's the creator part of it. So this is where what we're learning. And the Hopis have always seen that two path. The ones who go the material way, service me, 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 they're gonna
Mhm.
lead to their own destruction, while the other ones will just continue on through the journey of life as we've done for millions of years.
The great thing about the early days of, hippies when we came on the scene,
Right?
and it's true, the one thing I always love about, and I'll wear that title with pride, I got my ass kicked because of my long hair. But
Right.
anyway, you know, so much of that era was surrounded around this raw feminine power. A lot of the chicks I knew at the time, their heads were, swirling around in this identity of the aspect of the female coming out. And we see it today, even today in our laws, the two-tier standard. And in here we talk about the beach. Well, a guy can go out without a shirt, no problem, but a woman can't.
Yes, the
I
other
mean,
They
day I
can
was
in Europe.
yeah,
yeah, but yeah, in other places of the world that
We can.
haven't been controlled by patriarchal mainstream media, patriarchal religion, patriarchal whatever else, not divine masculine, but masculine patriarchal mindset, which is parasitic in the system. All of the other places, you can go to tribes all over the world where the women are wearing their breasts out just as comfortably as the men. It's an
yeah.
absolute up limitation in the mindset of others that in this country people used to get upset when I whipped a booby out to feed a newborn baby. For me, that's like, to be honest, at home, if I bent down enough, Theodore would start suckling like a lamb under a
Y'all are the
sheet,
givers of life. It's
because
just,
it was
it's
What we
there. If the
do.
nipple was there for him to
I
catch,
mean,
he just got it,
and now you
and
got the male thing that want to cover him up. I never figured that out.
yeah,
Yeah.
and stick a bottle in the baby's mouth, and
Yeah, let's
so
put some chemicals in there, like,
Right.
yeah.
chemicals we can recall every 3 months because we'd let something dangerous come into the line. But never mind, but again, that's a totally made up system, construct in our minds and limitation in our minds that is actually being allowed to be set in law in the UK. That I would be seen as being publicly indecent or causing a
Yeah.
nuisance if I decide to let my double D's flow freely one day. And I do like to do that. I like to walk without any knickers on. Nobody can see that I haven't got any on, but I like to feel the air. I don't like sweaty feet. I don't like sweaty anything. So the fact that I've got to harness these boulders up and strap them up and cover them up and, lock them in is annoying to me. And I've really been pushing the boundaries of going braless more and more and more, and I'm loving it. But I still, you know, got looked at the other day because I breastfed. I've got nipples like Scania wheel nuts off a lorry. So when I do go topless, that's notable, but that's healthy. That's healthy. When you look at these tribe women, they've got the elongated nipples that have been used for the purpose that they were created for. And so
Yeah.
again, you see how the system of oppression, a lot of it's just made up BS.
It is.
Yes,
And I
yes,
It's
yes,
all
would
made
Jenny.
love to
up. It's
be
all made
big
up. It's
barrier.
all.
Yeah.
That's
See,
what
I'm right there
all of
with
it's going
you.
to break apart. Everything's
See,
going to
I didn't
break
start the
apart.
conversation, but I love
I
it.
think we are,
Yeah.
I think we are reaching to the part where we have to acknowledge the feminine.
Yeah.
We as an individual, make sure and consciously, focus, say it, speak it. Everybody referring to God in the he and he and he. We have to start, you know, including the feminine because she wants to come out.
I mean,
She
Yes.
that
wants
is
to
the
come
story
out.
of Lilith, is that she was
Yes,
It is.
oppressed because
yes,
of her feminist.
Yes.
And
And
that's what it
I
is.
have to say, look at religions now, even just the Christian religions where there's a certain dress code that you go dressed in, the women are always more covered up than the men. I love a
of
hat, I love a
course.
scarf, but nobody's forcing me to wear them.
By
But
the way,
then
the
in
hat looks
religion,
fabulous. I love it.
thank you, thank you, thank
Yeah.
you. But then
Yes.
in
It's
in
far out,
religion,
babe. It's far out.
And
thank you, I
actually,
appreciate it.
it is so controlling. It is so, and
Yeah,
really as you,
but they've covered
as
up
you,
the women
yes,
to say
everything
that
is
we need
about,
to protect women, and that's ancient knowledge. But they've only done it because they realize that women uncovered in these patriarchal systems and belief systems actually aren't safe. but in the same time, that takes away the reverence for the woman because she's like this thing that can be told she needs to cover up and hide and corset up and tie up and knot up and latch up and all of these different latches women have to tie
Yeah.
themselves in with. It's
And you see
Yeah.
that's as we're getting on the subject, that was one of the issues I have with Abrahamic religions is that if they had their way, the woman would be put off property, and only
mm,
dealt with, for the male's carnal needs. And that's what the world has become,
The
basically.
world has become.
Yeah,
Yes, this is what the world has become.
yeah, yeah.
It's like, I'm getting annoyed right now to see, how even women, are still referring. They are also, referring. They have accepted the bad treatment, I have to say, about women in the world,
Yeah.
and they are not being aware, and they look at me as I'm weird by acknowledging the divine feminine.
yeah. But
Bingo.
you
I
see,
mean,
they would have us divided. They would have us divided on religion, skin color, but actually one logical line that I see, waterline, is that if you're a woman in the systems that we live in, you're lesser than. You're less
Yes,
valued money wise, you're less valued time wise, you're less valued intelligence wise, you're less valued even motherly wise now because schools are stealing that role from us too. Everything in the woman sphere is degraded. So people, I understand we need to talk about divides, but they're all manufactured divides. The one divide we can see, whether you're an Indian woman, a black woman, a white woman, a Chinese woman, is that within all of these patriarchal systems, you're less than. Yet you go to a tribe,
Don't you think
even the
that's
for
like important that they're doing this? I mean, every time our consciousness gets to a certain level, you see these systems try to really hardcore anchor down on you. And
lockdown.
I
Yeah.
mean, think about it when we had the whole, epidemic situation happening. You weren't allowed to go to the church, but you could go to the strip club. See what I'm saying? This is a whole, it's trying to suppress because this wisdom is the wisdom that changes the system. And it's not about it being superior. It's about when it actually gets balanced with the power of the masculine and the feminine being together, that's when we come together as humanity. That's when they lose all the control. So this is why it is so important that they keep this suppressed. But when we figure this out, it won't be able to be suppressed because once you connect to it, it's like popcorn. You can't unpop it.
well, as you're talking, Trina, and here's we're dealing with thousands of years of this oppressive belief system.
Yes.
And it is so odd because what they've done, and this is where pornography comes in, is that where the when the with the woman, the female, it's that when you look at her, you don't look at her in the area of grace, beauty, this divine creation. They've sexualized it. And by
Yes, Wayne.
sexualizing the woman, then you have this permanent divide because the male will never be able to see beyond the divide that has been put there. You get rid of the divide, now you have an equalism. You really do have equity.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. An ancient like hieroglyph. I've forgotten where it is. It's in one of the pyramids, or but it's basically a male lion, like a male human lion-esque figure, waking a divine feminine female from a tomb. Now, that's to say the story there is that you have to have an adept divine masculine within yourself to allow that to explore the divine feminine side of you and actually wake you up like Sleeping Beauty, wake
Yeah.
you up with a gentle kiss, an exploration of self and the powers of self. With that, that lion is fired up
Yeah.
and explores a world that was completely closed off to him, covered up to him, religiously cloaked to him. But now all of a sudden is this lion is exploring this dark woman manifest. And if this lion shows the correct reverence, those activation points within the person, whether you're male or female, exploring the divinities within self, you're gonna support the divine as you circle up, which creates that spiral, which creates the continuity into the infinite, which then connects you to the soul, which is why I would say, yes, there are people here that are connected to zero soul energy right now, lots of them, because they've got no connection to these divinities within. Now, if I can help balance out those divinities within myself, then I can also do that for the divine feminine in a male that I come across in my life. I can help him explore that submissive, beautiful, open side while keeping at bay this lion that's had to feel protective over that emotional side because it's been taught not to channel that, not to channel tears for magic, not to channel love and empathy just for reasoning and connectedness. So it works both ways. The exploration of those two is integral to being connected to any soul of the land, soul of self, soul of the sun, soul of the moon, everything above and below, as within, so without, it's got to be in that balanced flow of exploration of self. It's the only way you can learn to explore the people with reverence.
She was doing that. I saw the Kundalini going on, but
Right.
it's just me.
I do. I think that's the key to all of this is when we can really balance, and even if to stop labeling it, because this is what catches everything up. It's a field of polarity. It's literally a field of positive and negative charges, which is light energy. Light only works with a spark, so it has to have the charge. When we start looking at everything as literally what it is, energy, and we really start to embrace the hidden energies, which are the divine feminine energies. Those are the intuition, the subconscious powers, because that's controlling 95% of this reality. When we start to actually go into our own selves, these powers get awoke. And when they wake inside of you, it changes everything. And all of us that are waking up, just your presence in this field is affecting the whole. So all of you doing the work, thank you so much for doing the work. I really appreciate what you're doing.
Yes.
I feel you.
And we need to consciously do the work. And even more now, we are stepping into a new age. We need to really do the work and bring feminine to the fore.
Yes.
This is the time. Yeah. This is the time.
It's the heart. Yes. Yes.
You gotta love Lilith. I tell you, I love that gal. I mean,
is it patient?
I mean, yeah. Well, I just saw this. I saw Grandpa Brian, 420. He is going to be with Robert V over the Milky Way Soul Tribe channel Saturday night talking about the Black Sun. And
I took him into a hypnosis. And that was the information that came out of him. It blew his mind. It's about the divine feminine. It's crazy.
Yes.
Can we say
we are all connecting? That is fantastic.
I'm telling you, it's just so awesome. It's like
there's something going on here, folks. There's something going on.
And he really wants to talk about this because it was very important for his consciousness and what he saw firsthand. When you see it yourself, it's such a difference. So this is what we're going to start doing and start practicing with more and more people and showing other people. This is such an easy process. You're just using your imagination, going into an imagination, but somebody's helping guide you so you stay focused and you're there and you find out what's important. They keep you focused so you don't get distracted. But it's your own vision, your own journey, and the beauty of what you are. We all hold these little fragments of unique wisdom. And that's what we need to do, is start going in and unpacking the wisdom. And none of it's going to look the same for everybody. It's not all going to resonate, because we're all experiencing different levels of awakening. And that's a beautiful part. But all of these gifts that we're going to unlock out of our own consciousness is a gift to the collective, because everyone who does this work, it changes our world.
Yeah.
Really does.
When this group gets together, and I believe that day will come. Holy crap. I mean,
Fun.
I think we'll actually affect the Schumann resonance, you know.
Oh, hell
They're going to
yes.
see it and they're going to say, "Oh, it's that Soul Tribe group getting together." Okay. I
Yes,
mean,
yes,
I really
yes.
do. And if we're at the
That'd be a hell of
beach,
a vibration.
I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. Mm. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is good stuff.
Well,
Yeah.
ladies, we got to do this again. I mean, this has been, and I only got through part of my notes, but yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
This was lovely.
Bernadette, would you like to say anything to everybody before we leave? We'll do a round robin, Jenny, and then we'll end up with you, Trina.
Well, it was nice being here once more.
Uh,
Thank you. Thank you. We are all connecting.
Nice.
It's amazing how we all are like a web, just,
yeah.
complementing each other. And that is fantastic. I love the vibe, I love the energy. And we have to keep up this good work. Thank you, Trina. Thank you, Jenny. Thank you, Wayne.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Goddess Abenaa. We appreciate. We'll have you back on too. No doubt about it. Wow, stimulating convo. That's all I got to say. Jenny, love the hat, darling. I love the outfit. What?
Probably got dust on. You know what I would say? I would like people to experiment with feeling the infinite, feeling the infinite amount of energy around you, just literally by doing different hand shapes, and experiment reaching out to people in this group. It's the safest space to do it in, and if you're doing this now, I can feel this ball of energy right now. And each energy point that you have, build that energy within your two hands and just focus it on each chakra point. Emperor X, you do that with that dream, absolutely. And take a few weeks on each energy point doing this, and everything that comes up, just let it flow and say infinite love, and just keep drawing that into yourself, physically, spiritually, mentally, to create that connectedness and the groundedness in self and that balance. It's about drawing it from the ethers, the unseen. You've got an infinite source there that the within you is trying to get to. You can do that with your hands, your tools, by creating space for it to build in and just pushing it in, infinite love, infinite understanding. There's nothing to forgive, nothing to be ashamed of, just infinite love. Everything that comes up that way, just again, infinite love. And I'd love to see how people feel about themselves and how they feel about the interpretations that they get for themselves next week when they've done that practice.
Cool.
Super important.
Love you, Jenny.
Love you, Jenny.
Love you
Trina,
too.
I'll let you take us out.
Well, as I look at the four of us here on the screen, I see the funny thing. It's like I look at Wayne and Jenny sitting across from each other, and Jenny's got orange and black on, and Wayne, you're in black, and I'm seeing sacral fire flying out of Jenny, and I see you in the color of the black, the divine feminine, the mother, just absorbing all this information. And then I see Bernadette with the yellow and the greens, and then I look at me with the golds and the greens, and we're matching on the polar opposite part of the little cross I'm looking at. And it's just so wonderful to see our diversity and our unity. And thank you for being a part of my rainbow. I love you guys. All of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Y'all bring me to tears at times. So, yeah. All right, everybody. We'll be back here next Tuesday. Thank everybody. There's so many in the chat room. We just thank all of you. And
One, one.
yes, it is.
Is that
Uh,
what it is?
so anyway, I'll be here tomorrow, I believe. I think, yeah.
Yay.
Unless I'm gonna go have cake.
Go
Y'all
have
are
cake.
invited.
It's your birthday.
It is. It is. Merry Winds, we love you. I love
Oh,
the
and
every
Wayne, just
yes.
because I know that I won't be with you on your birthday, but I wanted to extend a very powerful birthday wish for you with the added intention of all of us who love you very much. So happy birthday. Make a wish. And when you make
Okay.
your wish, I will blow out the candle, and that will be all of our adding to your wish.
All right, I got the wish.
Okay.
So, all
Here,
right. Thank
may
you.
all your wishes
Trina,
come
I love
true.
you, darling, so
I love
much.
you too.
Happy
Uh,
birthday
love
to
you
you, Wayne,
too.
and best wishes to you.
well,
Yes,
thank
happy
y'all.
Your birthday,
You know,
wishing you many, many, many good ones.
mm, when I
We'd love to
see,
have you around a longer time.
long
oh,
time.
thank you
He's
both.
going
All
in
you,
Long
reverse. He's
time.
getting younger
yeah.
every time he goes around the sun. He's going backwards.
Hey, rules are made to be broken, right? Let's do it.
They say that you can measure the worth of a person by their friends. And the friends that I have here and have made, there is a wealth that can't be measured, at least in material wealth. And so thank you all.
Happy
Much
birthday to
love.
Susie as well, late because I didn't get on here, but Susie shares the same birthday as me. So she's just said happy birthday, late. So the whole
Well, I just want to
Gemini
say happy birthday. We've missed so many. I mean, Nina just had one.
moment.
Happy birthday.
And then
Happy
Jenny,
birthday.
you
All you
know, so
Geminis.
a lot of Geminis in this group. I
Gemini
mean,
vibe.
yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know why, but
Funny too,
well,
speaking of Geminis, the phrase keeps coming in my head, so he must want you to hear this. Brian, my treasure house was full because of the love of you all. So
mm,
that's real. That's
wow.
real. He's Gemini.
Okay.
Mm,
Mm,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
My treasure house is full.
Love that dude. You know,
Yeah.
still can hear him in my
Mm,
my spirit.
me
So
too.
all right, everybody. We love you. We'll see y'all
Love you.
tomorrow. Ladies, we'll see you next week. Miss Goddess Abenaa, Bernadette, thank you, hon. It has been so much fun. And we're gonna have you
Thank
back
you.
on.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay.
everyone. Much
Bye.
love.
Okay.